Boobop, we spend way too much time focused on the outcome, focused on the goal, that we don't realize that the molding, the character, the beautiful parts of getting there is all in the process. Let me ask you something. You ever plan a party before? Something that, maybe you plan a year ahead. Let's say it's a big birthday bash or some sort of huge party that you're excited for, or you're going to one. When you get to the party, it's so incredibly exciting. The day is here. Let's go. Oh my goodness. The party happens and then it's over. That's it. And you start to think, wow, I spent how many months planning for this thing? And it just came and went. It's here, now it's gone. And yes, you had fun. It's memories that you'll never forget. But it's the process of planning that really got you to that place, that really made you who you were at that party. It's the process of finding your outfit, the process of looking at the decor if you're the actual one decorating, the process of even coming up with the idea. The moment you came up with the idea for this party or for this thing, you became this person that is actually building something. You started to go towards it. And now by the time you get to it, it's beautiful. It's not beautiful because, it's just a party. It's beautiful because you planned it, because you went through the process of planning it and getting it together and making it the success that it was. We are so obsessed with the outcomes, right? Because we take what we're inspired by and we compare ourselves to it. We put ourselves in this position of making it seem like we're behind because somebody else who's younger did it or is already there, or the world right now, especially in society, is only talking about how you could be so much further. And we're not actually taking time to understand the process is what gets us there. You see that person you trying to become so bad? That person that you keep praying for? That person that you just want to cultivate and understand who they are? That person is born from you. That person emerges from you. The version of you that you're looking at today. Take a moment. Take a look in the mirror for a second. And look at who's staring back at you. That is the version of you that is going to cultivate the version of you that you genuinely want. All your decisions, your choices, the way that you operate, the way that you see things, the way that you go about life is cultivating the version of yourself that you genuinely want to become if you allow yourself to move in that direction. Which means that you are the powerhouse that you're looking for, but you're giving all of the power to your future self. You're giving all of the power to this version of you that you think you're supposed to be. The version of you that you want to be, regardless of who that is. Successful, a billionaire, someone who is just really living their best life, has the best family, whoever that is, gets cultivated from you. That version of you is born from you. So there is a really strong need to not be so obsessed with the outcome and to actually look at the journey as this beautiful thing. Yeah, of course, there are parts of the journey that is just uncomfortable. There's parts of this journey that you can't stand. There's parts of this journey you're like, why the hell am I going through this? But it's cultivating character. It's literally helping you to overcome and become who it is that you need to become. The process, man. We don't talk enough about the process. And that's the thing. When we are comparing ourselves to other people, we're not looking at their process. Yeah, we hear the stories that they tell. We hear how it wasn't easy for them, but we're not looking at that. We're not looking at how the process was not easy. We're looking at the outcome. We're looking at what they became. We're looking at how they got there, how they're in the position we wish we could be in. And that is literally the thief of joy. If you've ever heard it, comparison is a thief of joy, I understand that. It really is. But I think more than anything, the thief of joy is only looking at a time or caring for a time that doesn't exist yet or exists sometime in the future. That is a thief of joy. Because although you may be inspired to become, although you may be inspired to go after a goal, it's right now. It's what you do right now that gets you there. It's who you are right now that gets you there. Regardless of where you are, you could be in a position where you are just so incredibly far away as far as you're concerned. to what it is that you want. Maybe you require a skill. Maybe it requires you meeting a certain person. Maybe it's actually requiring something that you would never think you could possess, regardless of what it is. You, today, in this moment, gets to cultivate that version of you that you want to become, which means you got to spend more time falling in love with the process of getting there than being stuck on just being there. Because the truth is, as you are going towards it, you're going to feel disappointed. You're going to feel like it's not worth it. You're going to feel like this is the worst. And the reason why you're feeling that is because you already are in a place or only thinking about the place instead of thinking about your way of getting there. It's like going out for dinner with your friends. You just want to be at the dinner. But anytime you plan to go out for dinner, anytime you plan anything at all, you kind of have to plan for transportation. I don't know about you, but there was times where I would have plans to go out and I would look at my account and I would look at my budget and I'd be like, okay, cool. I have enough for this dinner. And because in my head, I have enough for the dinner, I'm chilling. I'm living my best life. I'll go buy the outfit. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. Right. But I realized I never used to account for the travel. Right. If I had a car, I didn't account for gas. If I was taking Uber, I didn't account for how much that might be, right? And Uber and Lyft and things of that sort, they're never just one price. It's not just like a fixed rate. So depending on what time I was leaving and all that stuff, I never actually took that into account, right? I wouldn't really take into account, the things that might happen. Like afterwards, there may be plans to go get drinks or there may be plans to go to some sort of party, right? I'm not thinking about that. Right? Or if we go to the party, how after the party, I'm hungry, it's 2:00 in the morning, let's go get some pizza. I don't take all of that into account. I just think about the destination. I don't think about what it's going to take to get there. And since I don't think about what it's going to take to get there, I'm actually always missing out on what the truth is. The truth is, while I'm thinking I need $60 to $70 for this dinner, I actually need $80 to $100. Right? And you could just plan that out. Oh, okay, I have $100 for the dinner. I should be fine. But the truth is I'm just thinking about the dinner. I'm not thinking about what it takes to get there. I'm not thinking about the journey to getting there. The journey that I have to take when it comes to getting dressed, maybe taking a nap, because you need a nap sometimes. That's just not something I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about being there because I just want the outcome. Too often we do that and we miss some extremely crucial steps. So now by the time I wake up in the next morning, I'm looking at my account like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Or if I go and I book the Uber, I'm like, damn, this is way more money than I expected. And it seems like this very unexpected thing. But the truth is there was just a lack of being in the moment. There was a lack of thinking about the process and the journey. I was too stuck on just the outcome. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I'm telling you, every time I used to do it, it actually used to get me and hit me harder, right? I would take into account that I have to work and that I have to get there at a certain time so I could just do this, that, and the third. And I'm not actually thinking about the journey from getting to work to getting home. I'll just go from work and I'll get home and that's it. I'm not thinking about how the trains could actually stop. I'm not thinking about how there could be anything that goes on that doesn't necessarily work in my favor. I'm not even thinking about how my outfit that I think is just so perfect could not work out for that day because I'm a little more bloated than I care to be, or because it ripped, or something happened. I don't take into account the journey. I just take into account the outcome. So now here's what happens. When certain mishaps happen in the journey, when things go away that I don't see coming, when it's not perfectly getting me to my outcome the way that I need it to get me there, now I'm more angry. Now I'm more upset. Now I think that universe is out to get me. Now I think that my life is just this very unlucky thing, but that's not true. The truth is that I skipped over so many steps just trying to get to that dinner, only thinking about that dinner, thinking about my money for the dinner, thinking about the one outfit for the dinner, thinking about how I'm going to get to the dinner. I didn't take into account the moment that I'm in right now that I got invited to the dinner, to the actual dinner, that entire journey. I'm not taking it into account, which means I can't even foresee the fact that something could go wrong. I am not even able to really plan for anything because I'm just worried about the outcome. So now it seems like when things don't go my way, that it feels like it's against me. And in reality, I just never gave myself time to prepare for it. I never gave myself time to really sit in it. I didn't give myself time to even visualize it, to even become the person or even see the characters that live within me that could actually handle the situation much easier. And of course, there are things that, just don't aggravate you, but we go through this too often, especially with the bigger goals. Dinner is one thing. Yeah, you can be like, oh, no big deal for certain things. But we get so aggravated when we're not reaching our goals and we're not achieving something, not because we think the universe is against us, but literally because we're not taking the journey for account. We're not looking at the entire journey and the entire process. We're not giving ourselves a moment to actually be in the moment. Where you want to be should inspire you. It should inspire you to take inspired action, right? Intentional action. But it should not be the only thing that you're focused on. It should not be the only thing that matters to you, because every step matters. Paying attention to detail matters. And we live in a world where everywhere we look, it seems like everyone is so incredibly successful. But we'll hear some stories, but we don't know the depths of those stories. Not everything and everyone that's so incredibly successful is simply just living the most easy, most calm life. They go through things. Their journey alone, they went through things. They felt things they didn't want to feel. They experienced things they didn't want to experience. They got rejected left and right until they finally got that yes. Stop focusing so much on the outcome that you need and start seeing that this moment right now, this moment that you find so insignificant, this moment that you think is just so against you, isn't. It's working with you. It's cultivating the version of you that you need to become in order for you to get to where you're going. It is the most important part of your journey, because the journey matters more than the outcome, because the outcome comes and it goes. That launch comes and it goes. That wedding day comes and it goes. But it's the marriage, right? It's who you become to get to that wedding, to then really show up in the marriage. It's who you become to get to that launch, to then show up, to keep pushing past it, to keep growing, to have even more launches. We get so stuck on just this one thing, and then we don't realize that why we're so unhappy. Why are we so shook when things don't necessarily go the way we want it to go? You're so stuck on this one thing, you don't even realize that the journey you're being taken through is the thing that's going to get you to exactly what you truly want. And no matter how aggravating, no matter how joyful, there's a need to be in the present. There's a need to see the future as something that inspires you, but the present as the only one, the only place, and the only person that could cultivate that future you. The outcome doesn't matter as much as the process. Fall in love with the process, and you are guaranteed an outcome that truly aligns with you and truly puts you in the position you want to be in. And you think you might know what you want right now, but I don't know about you. But the version of me that was 10 years old thinking I wanted certain things has shifted. Yeah, certain things that I wanted at 10 years old is the same, but a lot of things are not. A lot of things that I thought I wanted at 10, I do not want now in my adulthood. It is not the same thing in my adulthood. And never mind what I wanted at 10, the things that I thought I wanted last year are just not the same, because I've grown, I've learned, and I've allowed myself to switch and shift and change. I've seen myself for who I was and where I was cultivating that version of me, that outcome that I needed so bad. And I said, ooh, that's not necessarily exactly who I am. Let me shift it a little bit more. That's where we're going wrong. We are so definitive in what it is we think we need that when it doesn't work out for us, we think that it's the end all be all. But it's not. We just have to fall in love with the process enough to know that the process works for us. The process is for us. And the process, the moment, the right now, is the only version of us that could possibly cultivate the version that we want. Who you are today cultivates who you are tomorrow. It's just up to you to allow yourself to believe that you have that much power. Because who the hell else is going to get you to where you want to be if the version of you that's watching this video isn't the one to do it? It's in the process, not the outcome.